This came up on my feed about 2 days ago, and I wanted to do it live right then and there, but I had some stuff to do. So we're going to do today on a Sunday. It's a very rare stream. It is Buster Murdaugh's police interview. And this happened roughly about 3 days after the murders of his mom, Maggie, and his younger brother, Paul. Now, his father, Alex Murdaugh, has already been convicted of the double homicide of Maggie, of Paul. And, you know, Buster, a lot of people weren't really sure where Buster stood. I mean, a lot of people had a lot of negative things to say about Buster because they thought maybe he was involved in it, or maybe he's protecting his father, or things like that. And maybe Buster was also involved in the Stephen Smith case as well. But so far, we haven't really seen much evidence that points to any of that. I know a lot of people have ire towards Buster because he's probably the son of Alec Murdaugh, but at the same time, you can also view him as a victim as well. I mean, he did lose his younger brother and he did lose his mom as well. So I think this is the first time we have a police interview that's been released. It was released by Law and Crime. So I'm kind of interested to see how Buster is. And, you know, again, this is 3 days after the murders of his mom and his brother. And it just must be really tough being surrounded by a bunch of other police, law enforcement. I think even Alex Murdaugh was even nearby as well. And having to be interviewed about their murders. And, you know, it's tough. Like, I kind of skimmed through the comments a little bit, and a lot of people were saying how stoic he was. You know, he was trying really hard to not cry. And maybe it's a thing in the family where Alex Murdaugh taught his kids, you know, his sons especially, well, they only had sons, but taught his kids to, you know, maybe not cry and show emotion in public, because we didn't see that in the trials. Very rarely do we see Buster. Actually, I don't think at all. I don't think we ever really saw him cried. He was very quiet. He was sitting there. And, you know, he had his little tics here and there where he would like bite on his nails and stuff like that. But, you know, he did testify in the stand. And honestly, I'm going to say this. I don't remember his testimony to the point where I was like, wait a second, did he testify in the stand? Because I actually do not remember much about it, but I do remember everyone else's. But yeah, I don't know. Buster Murdaugh, it'll be really interesting to see what he says during these police interviews. And we kind of have a funky angle going on right here with the fisheye effect. But I don't know. I mean, I honestly like it when the angle's like really close and we get a good audio from the person that's being interviewed versus, you know, when we have like good camera, but then the audio's like crap. I'd rather just have good audio. So hopefully we're good. He was rather blah on the stand. Yeah, I feel like I don't really remember much about him on the stand, to be honest. But I know he did show up like every day to, you know, support his dad, because he probably does think his dad is innocent, or he wants to believe it because, you know, you've already lost most of your family members, and to realize that maybe your dad is the murderer that killed everyone, well, that's kind of hard to cope with. So it's a tough position for him to be in. And, you know, I do feel really bad for him. But I do want to check this out, and it's about an hour and a half long. We're just gonna have a very chill Sunday. I'll pause here and there to interject, but yeah, let's just listen to it. We got Buster here. I might need to turn the audio down a little bit, maybe a smidge more.
Okay, maybe you know, nervous, jot some notes a little bit. Yep, I might be taking one. So, you know, as I told him, we're going to record this obviously, but you'll probably see me jot some notes down here just for later reference. And again, you're getting introduced to a lot of people here, but again, my name is Charles. Yes, I'm a lieutenant here with SLED. This is Katie McAllister, and I want to start out here.
I do think it's interesting, though, because when they also interviewed Alec Murdaugh, they also did it in a police car as well. It wasn't like at the police station. Is it kind of like a respecting that they're giving to the Murdaugh family because of their prominence? Or is it something that SLED would normally do with normal people? Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting that it's like being done in the car. Although I am very grateful it's done in the car, because the interview with Alec Murdaugh in the car, we were able to see all of his facial expressions really up close. Because, you know, sometimes in police interviews, like the camera is like way up here. You can't really see anything. So I am very grateful that they are doing this in the car. Hi, Lemon Bay. Christine, how are you doing today? Russian aloha. We are just getting started on this video. Hello, hello.
Just tell you, I am extremely sorry for what has happened to your mother and to your brother. Okay? Thank you. And I know that it's not easy to sit here and talk to a stranger about this kind of stuff. It's my hope that we can do it, get this part behind us, and move on to trying to find out and try to make the situation as good as we can make it for a terrible situation we're dealing with this.
This is when Buster denial started. Practical reasons come in that area is far from what I hear. Ah, gotcha. Well, I mean, I do remember that Moselle being about 15 to 20 minutes from the law firm, but I assume that maybe the police department be out there. But yeah, I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can see that.
For that, I am gonna have to ask a lot of questions. You got your attorney here with you, and I'm sure he'll pipe up if ever he needs to. I'd expect him to. But for you, what I want you to understand is, I mean, your family is in some ways no different than mine, no different than Katie's. We have our good, we have our bad. What makes your family maybe a little bit different is that your family is very well known, and other things associated with that. And because of that, people talk.
How's the audio? Can y'all hear okay? I'm boosting the audio so it's loud, and I hope y'all can hear it on speaker or maybe on your phone or earbuds or things like that.
People put rumors out there. People make things up if they don't have anything to talk about. But once these things kind of get out there, when we're doing a full investigation, we kind of need to do what we can to say we've asked those questions, we've addressed them, and we've dealt with them.
Yes, sir.
So all I ask out of you today, Buster, is and you don't mind me calling you Buster, do you?
Absolutely, no, sir.
Is just try to be as honest and forthcoming as you can on all this, okay?
No problem.
Can I?
Now, remember when Alec Murdaugh was interviewed in the police car? Was this before or after Buster? I am kind of curious. Let me look that up really quick. Because I want to know at this point, the law enforcement, did they already think that it was Alec Murdaugh? Or were they kind of like, things are kind of shady here. We're not too sure what's going on. Because I think they did mention that when they arrived at the scene, they noticed some things that were like a little bit off, you know, like how Alec Murdaugh had like a clean shirt, maybe his demeanor and things like that. But let me see if the other interview took place before or after this.
Just start. We'll start out with an easy one here. Can I get your full proper name?
Yeah, Richard Alexander Murdaugh Jr.
And your date of birth, sir?
Oh, this is the one I was looking for. This one right here. I was very grateful for this angle because we would really see Alec Murdaugh right there. So this is the same date, 6/10, 3 days after the murders. And, oh, they were happening about the same time. Oh, I see. Happening at the same time, but in different cars. Okay.
And where are you currently living now? Are you going to school now, or?
Not right now. I'm in a 6-month job for Wild Wing Cafe.
Okay.
So I do a lot of traveling throughout the week.
So you're working like for corporate?
Yes, sir.
Wild Wing Cafe.
Alec was in the same, if I'm not mistaken. When did Buster get kicked out of law school? I actually don't know anything about that. I know a lot of people were talking about the law school thing and how he got in trouble and things like that. I don't know anything about that. If you guys can source it for me, I'll be happy to read it. But yeah, I don't know anything about that, aside from what people say in the chat.
How long have you been living up in Columbia?
Been living in Columbia since 2018.
You got roommates at that apartment?
Do not.
You live by yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you primarily work Wild Wings traveling corporate?
Yes, sir.
Any other jobs? Is that the only one?
Only one.
You know, actually, when Buster said that he was working for Wild Wings, I was actually picturing like busting tables, taking orders and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, working in the service industry like that builds character, but he was in corporate. Oh, good.
Are you up there? Are you up there all the time, or do you split time between there and here, or?
Split time between, most recently I've been splitting time between there and my girlfriend's house.
Okay.
Because the Wild Wing office is in Charlotte, so it's a 20-minute drive for me to get to work from her house.
What's your girlfriend's name?
Brooklyn White.
White?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is she of the White family up there? If you're familiar with the White House and all that,
No.
That was a big name up there. Okay. Where does Brooklyn live?
I don't know her house number. It's on a street.
Does she live by herself or with her family, or?
Her mom lives there, and she just recently moved out of a house there now, and is in the future moving to.
So they're just bleeping out all the private information in case you guys are wondering why is it like so choppy.
So I'm sorry, Brooklyn moved out of her mother.
No, Brooklyn and her mother have been living at her mother's house, and Brooklyn just moved out of a house that she had with a couple of roommates in because she finished school.
I got you. Okay. Did y'all meet in school?
We did.
Okay. You know Brooklyn's phone number offhand?
No, sir, I don't. Probably should.
You know, I didn't know my wife's for the longest time because nowadays nobody remembers numbers. You used to have to remember numbers, obviously. So
Yep, that happens. I wonder if Buster knows in his heart his dad killed his mom and brother. I feel like he's gotta, you know. But hey, the power of deniability, you know.
you go to any phone, now you just plug it in, you forget. I've never told her that. Okay. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about just the house out there on Moselle.
Yes, sir.
When was the last time that you stayed out there for any length of time?
Would have been.
If ever.
Would have been turkey season. Was out there during turkey season, so March, early April was when I was staying out there more often.
March, early April this year. When you stay out there at Moselle, where do you stay? Where do you let your head at?
I stay in my room.
And that's in the main house?
It is.
And if I'm in the main house, how do I get to your room?
If you walk through the front door of the main house, there's a staircase to your left,
Mm-hmm.
and the staircase goes up onto a raised up banister, and there's a room to the right and a room to the left, and my room is the one to the right.
How about Paul's room? Is
The one to the left.
Is the one to the left? Is that the last time you've been up there, or that's just the last time you've been up there for any kind of longer stay? Have you been
No,
short stays?
I've swung through multiple times. I've been having to grab things from Moselle clothes and whatnot. I can't remember the last time I spent the night in Moselle. Usually when it gets hotter,
Uh-huh.
I tend to fluctuate more to the beach more.
Right.
But turkey season would have been the last time that I've stayed, multiple nights in a row.
Okay. So, I mean, you may not be able to remember the exact date. Can you remember about when the last time you spent a night in Moselle was? Was it in the last month, last couple of weeks? I mean,
Let's see, it's June now.
yes, it's June 10th, actually.
I really can't remember. It's been a decent amount of time, weeks, maybe even a month.
And so, Buster, as you're getting back and forth from place to place here, do you have a dedicated vehicle you get around in?
Yes, sir. I have a
What year is it? New? Or
yes, sir. Since it was new.
Is that the only vehicle you've had?
No, I also
at that
have.
time, or
Well, it's the one after I had a truck before I got that car. But
okay, but since then, has that been your primary way of getting around?
yes.
Hey, Morden. Hey, Mariah. How are you doing today? My hair stays in the room at the end of the hall. Wait, did I miss something?
Any other ways or any other cars? Or?
Nope.
Bad captions?
I guess let's go ahead and kind of get at least close to the incident we're talking about here, obviously. And I may have to digress back and forth. I'm sorry, it's just the way my brain works.
No problem.
And we're just meeting for the first time, so something might occur to me. When was the last time that you recall speaking to your mother?
I spoke to my mom I spoke to her a couple times, like Monday afternoon, around probably the 4 to 5 hour range, and then probably a couple times. We speak usually 2-3 times a day.
And that was by phone?
Yes, sir. My cell phone.
So I guess, and backing up a little bit, here we go right off the bat here. Actually, let me back up just a little bit more than that. You talked about spending some time down at Edisto. Y'all have a house on Edisto?
Yes, sir.
Where is that located at?
Hey, Wayne, how's it going? So they got two houses. They got Moselle, which is where the murders happened, and then Edisto was where Maggie was going back and forth. That was the beach house that she had.
That's the one down near, kind of near the marina, right? That
Yeah.
side
So
road out there.
if you
Last thing you did.
was there Memorial Day weekend, would be the last recent time.
Okay. Were you there? Talking about Memorial Day weekend, did you come down what day? Friday, Thursday? Or
Oh no, I was there. I was there probably Wednesday.
Hey, Bunana.
Are y'all burning up back there?
Cool. Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, we've got the vents open.
Let me get the well, you might have actually had the
There you
radio.
go. There's the money shot.
So my back seat is usually so full of junk. Stayed until Memorial Day or past Memorial Day?
I stayed until Sunday. Left on Sunday, and went to Columbia.
Was Brooklyn there with you for all or part of the weekend?
She was not there for Memorial Day next year.
Wasn't there? Okay. So who all was at the house during Memorial Day?
My mom, my dad, my brother, and staying with us were 3 of my brother's friends.
You remember who those people were?
I do. One boy was
Now, was everybody there pretty much the whole time, or did people come in and out, or?
We were there the whole time. Like my mom, my dad, and I were there, and obviously we had friends fluctuate in and out, come hang out, stuff like that.
Okay.
I've been playing that podcast for the ability to sleep. The laundry podcast. Is that your lullaby?
Beach houses are like that. Pretty good trip. Any problems, no issues went on
No,
down
just
there?
good weekend.
Good weekend. Okay.
Wait, when was Memorial Weekend when they celebrated Alec Murdaugh's birthday? When's his birthday again? Because I remember they celebrated his birthday. Is that the same weekend or a different one?
And you've stayed there periodically times before that. I think you alluded to that.
Yes, sir.
You tend to go there more often than you go back to Moselle.
Yes, sir. I've been spending the majority of my weekends there since the weather was getting warmer and whatnot.
Now, going back to the days when you worked when you lived at Moselle, did you ever do much as far as work on the property or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I try to help out with what I could.
And when you were working out there on that property, did y'all ever have any problems with things like theft or strangers walking up, people hunting where they shouldn't have been? And you know how people do. I mean, was that ever anything you can remember?
As far as people hunting, we've had a tremendous issue with a group of dog hunters, and so they would always release their dogs. They would run on our property and stuff like that. But other than that,
did it ever get like confrontational or anything with any of these people over the years that you were aware of or anything? I mean,
nothing crazy. Just telling people hey, keep your dogs off the property.
Why does he have a dog's name? Buster? I guess. When was this interview? This happened about 3 days after the murders of Maggie and Paul.
How about things going missing, things getting stolen?
Never had a problem with that. Never have noticed anything stolen. Never reported anything stolen.
Let's talk about maybe people that you might remember who would have worked on the property and stuff like that. I understand. Do you know the current? I assume he's current. The current groundskeeper that's out there now.
I do. I've met him.
Talking about
CB Rowe.
You met.
Is CB Rowe the one? There was like a sunflower guy, right? Was there? Is the sunflower guy separate from the guy who was cleaning out the kennels?
Yeah,
I have.
Before CB, was there anybody else that worked there?
There was for a long term. There was a fellow named Ronnie Freeman who worked out there.
And Ronnie Freeman worked there for quite a while.
Yeah. I can't remember his entire stint, but it was several years.
And was Ronnie? Why did he end up not working for y'all anymore?
He expanded into his own business venture. He created his own business and wanted to take that on.
Okay. So it wasn't a bad thing. Right?
Oh no, he just had an opportunity and he wanted to take it, so had to give us his resignation.
Are you aware of any employees or other people that worked out there, anything like that had to be let go or had to be terminated or not renewed? Anybody you ever had problems with out there?
No, sir. To this day, those are the only two people that have been out there.
Okay. And I'll touch on Mr. Rowe here a little bit more in a second. Let's go back to, I guess, working on our timeline here. So you left Memorial Day weekend, that's that Sunday. And you go back up to Columbia that evening, I suppose?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and from there, are you there for the rest of the week, or?
I stayed in Columbia. I had a...
I thought I put that on mute, I apologize.
I stayed in Columbia on Sunday. I had a...
I don't know why, but like the name Dale keeps popping up. Was Dale the one that was cleaning out the kennels? Because I think CB Rowe was someone that we never saw on the stand. Was it a Dale?
I had a FaceTime interview on Monday, so that's why I went to Columbia and I sat in Columbia on Monday to do that. I
Had a FaceTime interview?
did. Hang on. This might have been... No, you know what? That's incorrect. That was the Monday prior. So
Okay.
The reason I left Edisto Sunday, went to Columbia Monday, met up with my girlfriend. Her and I drove on Monday to her house in Rock Hill, and then Tuesday I had to start my new job in Charlotte.
Hey, Moondog, what's up? Master Q, hello, hello. Or is it Queef? What's up, Master? How are you doing today? How's it going? Bernice, happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. At the time of the murder, the same guy poisoned the sunflowers and was keeping the kennels. It was the same guy?
So that's why we did all that.
Okay.
And is that the Wild Wing shop? Or?
That is.
Okay. Where were you working at before that? Or were you?
No, I was not.
Okay. So they're based out of Charlotte then?
Correct.
Who the hell is Dale?
So, rest of the week, you were working, I guess?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was all that work done in the Charlotte area or where?
In the Charlotte area.
And you were staying in Rock Hill at night, those nights?
Actually,
or what?
I was in the Charlotte area for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday I was in Greenville.
And was that work related?
It was.
Okay. So Thursday, Friday in Greenville. Then after Friday, where then?
Saturday, drove down to Columbia.
Yeah, were you staying overnight in Greenville?
Yes, sir. I was in a hotel.
Okay. So Saturday you drove to, I'm sorry.
Saturday I drove to Columbia.
Okay. And now,
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, CB wrote, someone threw accusations at him saying that, like, maybe he was the one who did it or something like that.
your girlfriend's not with you on these trips?
She met me when I left Greenville on Saturday. She met me. She left me in Columbia on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you're in Columbia on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Anything significant about Columbia on Saturday? I mean, y'all just...
We were there for the baseball games, for the regional.
Stayed in Columbia that night?
Stayed in my apartment.
Just two of y'all, Joe. Y'all went to, you said baseball game?
Went to the game. My parents came up, went to the game with them.
Okay, so your mother and father came up to the game Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They also stayed the night in Columbia on Saturday. Went back to the game on Sunday.
Bye, have fun. Oh my gosh, Costco on a Sunday? Good luck. That parking lot must be crazy. Bye, have fun. Get a hot dog.
Did they stay in a hotel or something?
They did.
Okay. Do you know where they stayed?
I believe it was the Hilton on, I guess that's Senate Street.
More games on Sunday?
Yes, sir.
They came to those as well?
We did. We went to those.
So that brings us to Sunday after the games.
Afternoon, hung out in Columbia in my apartment, stayed Sunday night, woke up early Monday morning, had to be back in Charlotte for work.
All right, so your mother and your dad, did they stay Sunday night, you know?
They did not. They went back to Murdaugh.
Now, do you know, just up to this point, through Sunday, do you know where your brother Paul had been around this time? Was he?
I did not know.
Did you remember having any conversations with Paul? Obviously was there during the trip.
Oh no, I was correct. There was a Dale. Dale was the one who cleaned up the kennels that night. Yeah, and they were asking me about the host placement and all that. I was ready. Okay, I should have went with my intuition. CB Rose, the one's the groundkeeper, and then they had Dale who like took care of the kennels and stuff like that. Okay.
Your dad and stuff.
Yes, sir.
You said. And you didn't report any issues, anything unusual. You know, he didn't tell you about anything, any problems he was having, or anything like that.
No, sir.
Do you remember prior to Monday any conversations you had with Paul? Or?
Yeah, no, this is too close. This is pretty. I like this. But this is like, we're just looking foreheads right here. But at least the audio quality, pretty decent.
Prior to Monday, any conversations you had with Paul or anything specific, phone calls, anything like that?
No, sir.
And he didn't come to the games, obviously.
He did not. He did not. Actually, I think he was in Charleston because I know he was going to have to leave Charleston if he wanted to come to the game and come, and he didn't. So I think he just remained down there in Charleston.
Is he seeing anybody now, or?
I don't believe so. I don't know.
Hey, Celebrity Juicer, welcome. Hello, hello.
So you have to be back at Charlotte, work at Charlotte on Monday. So
Yes, sir.
Sunday night, after the games, what do you do?
I hung out in my apartment. Some people came over. We watched the rest of baseball going on around the place. Ordered some pizza and wings, and then just people left, and I went to sleep.
These are people, friends y'all have up there?
Yeah, friends of mine from
Was
the
your girlfriend
area.
there that night too?
She was not. She had left. She had left Sunday to go back to Rock Hill.
Yeah, so just a reminder, they were murdered on June 7th, which was a Sunday. I think it was Sunday. Was it Sunday night? Yeah, I think Sunday night.
Who were some of the people that came over Sunday?
It was just two. It was a buddy of mine named, and then later on that evening, a buddy of mine named came over.
These people you know through school, or?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry, I didn't do the math. Did you graduate from USC? You have some years in?
I graduated from Wofford College.
Wofford? Okay, I'm sorry. When did you graduate?
2018.
So was graduation present?
It was. No, yes, that was the graduation present.
Yes. It's not bad. All right, so comes over a little late, had you left, but then
No, sir. Still there, just the three of us.
Watch the rest of the games.
Yes, sir.
They both left afterwards, or did they stay over? Or?
They both left. We watched a pay-per-view fight at 11, and then they left when that was over, probably around midnight.
Hi, Lori.
All right. So you spent the night there, and you need to be in Charlotte on Monday?
Monday. Yes, sir.
What time do you leave out to go to?
I left Columbia at 9:30, 9:45 because I had to be at Charlotte at 11 o'clock.
Who's your boss up there in Charlotte? Anybody you report to, or?
Yeah, I report to the vice president and the human resources agent.
You know the names up here?
Yeah, the VP's name is. Do not know how to spell the last name.
Period it is.
Okay.
And the HR representative is.
Doing a lot of nervous scratching. Yeah, earlier I think I said tics, but I didn't mean to say tics. I meant to say like idiosyncrasies. He's kind of like me. He like fidgets a lot. We did notice him biting his nails quite a few times and kind of just like chewing on it while he was like listening in the courtroom. So, yeah. Could be like a stress thing as well.
All right, so you had to be there at 11, so you go to work up there on Monday. And do you speak with any of your family members at all?
Charles, I'm gonna step out 1 second.
To a certain point on Monday? Just about anything?
Yeah, me and my mom had shared several phone calls. She was trying to get me.
Hey, Rain. Voice is calm. At least he's fluent.
And we were on the phone back and forth because she was trying to get that ordered and sent to my girlfriend's house so that I could have it.
You remember about what time you spoke to him?
No, I just remember it was during the afternoon period. I was traveling around, didn't keep touch. I also spoke to my dad in the afternoon around probably 3:30.
Remember what that conversation was about?
Just about how, checking in, how each other's day was going, stuff like that. We did that pretty often.
That's pretty common.
Yes, sir.
How would you describe your relationship with your father?
Extremely close.
You think extremely close?
Someone mentioned earlier that Buster talks like Alec. I don't know. I disagree with that. I feel like when Alec talks, he kind of sounds like, I don't know, he sounds like a buffoon to me. Kind of like a doofus, kind of like a goofy guy. But Buster, I think he's way more poised and way more eloquent than his dad is.
How about with your mother?
Extremely close.
And your brother?
Extremely close.
And I'll talk a little more about your family in a little bit. I know some of this is kind of probably a little difficult to talk about, I know, so I'm trying to get through some timeline things here. So you have a couple conversations. The last time you think you talked to your father was around 3:30 at least.
Yes, sir.
How about Paul? Did you talk to Paul at all on Monday?
I hadn't talked to Paul since Saturday. I spoke to him and asked him if he was coming up to the game. He informed me that he was not coming to the game, and that was the last time I spoke to him.
Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and move up a little bit more in the timeline here.
No problem.
As we go. So let's go through the rest of your day. I think about the latest thing I think I've got, unless I'm wrong, is you talking to your father around 3:30.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any more conversations with your mother after that you recall?
No, not that I recall.
Okay. Just kind of walk me through the rest of of that day, if you will?
Well, I was at work. I was at a Wild Wing restaurant. I was calling applicants and scheduling them for an interview to come the next day.
Where was that restaurant located at?
It's in Charlotte. It's off of a road called Airsley's Boulevard. No, I think it's like AR. There's a Y in there somewhere. SLEY, something like that.
Sure, I can find it. You're calling applicants.
Yes, sir. Phone calling applicants, setting them up for interviews the next day at the same location.
I have to imagine that's a busy job right now. Trying to get people to come to work.
Yes, sir.
Do you think Alec Murdaugh feels bad for what he's put Buster through? Because like the internet did go after Buster for quite a bit for a while, right? I wonder if Alec Murdaugh, instead of feeling bad for what he did and the actions, how it affected his son, if he instead just blamed it on the internet trolls. I remember him, was that during his sentencing? During the financial sentencing, I think he was mentioning that. Like, oh, Buster, I'm sorry, you know, and then like, I think he just blamed it on the internet people. If I remember correctly. Also, you know what? I do want to mention, I don't think Buster was at Alec Murdaugh's financial sentencing either. I don't know if any of his family members were. I wonder if at this point, if they're just tired of his bullshit.
Set up interviews the following day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now, do they when they come in, do they interview with you, or do they?
I don't know. I was supposed to do it. I was supposed to start the day after.
Nah, Bubba said peace. Bubba is with Blanca now. He's not a Murdaugh anymore. He said bye.
Do they interview with you, or do they?
I don't know. I was supposed to do it. I was supposed to start the day after.
All right. So you're there for a while doing that. How long are you at work?
Probably till 4. Probably left around 4. And I left, had to run an errand. They wanted me to go to Party City and buy balloons and a helium tank. So I did that, and when I was done with that, then I went back to my girlfriend's house, which is where I was going to stay the rest of the week, in the evening.
So the Party City stuff you buy, you had to bring that back to that same restaurant afterwards?
No, sir. I just kept it in my truck, and I was going to return it to the restaurant the next day.
I got you. So you go back to your girlfriend's house?
Yes, sir.
It's just you and her there. Her mother's not there.
It is.
Like, I'm just trying to picture, or I'm just trying to like envision the conversation between the two of them. So Buster probably goes back to Alex saying that like, oh, you know, like people are coming after me. This is stressful. This is hard. This is tough. Like I'm under a lot of stress. And then Alec Murdaugh, instead of being like, oh, you did, I'm so sorry, your son. They're like, you know, I did this and this is the reason why you're going through all this. He's just saying that like, oh, it's just internet trolls. They're just horrible people. It's the internet. It's the internet. Like, but then Buster deep inside maybe knows that like, no, it's actually because of you, Dad. Like you're the one who caused all of this. But I don't know. But I just feel really bad. No cares in the world other than himself. Yep, Patty. Totally agree. You don't think Alec feels bad for Buster? If Buster was there with his brother and mother, Alec would have killed him too. I do wonder about that. Or did he just want to make sure that there was someone to carry on the Murdaugh legacy? You know, because if he kills the entire family, bye-bye, Murdaugh name. Who else is there going to be? Randy's kids? John Marvin's kids? I don't know if Alec even cares about them.
It's just her and I there, and her mother doesn't get there until later when she gets off work.
About what time was that you got back?
I probably got back around 5:30.
And the mother gets there?
Probably 6:30. Yeah.
The jail calls? I listened to some of
Were you there
them.
when she got home?
Yes, I was. I was there for the rest of the night.
Okay. Anything significant happened the rest of that evening that you can, until the time that you obviously find out something? Anything leading up to that point?
No, sir. Just standard sitting around watching TV, got in bed.
That's true. Alec would have definitely pulled the whole, I hired Cousin Eddie to kill me so you can get the insurance money. Son, I've sacrificed so much for you. You should be grateful. I could totally see that. The manipulation. Absolutely.
And so at some point, you get contacted.
I do.
And who's that that contacts you?
My dad sent a text message that contained my girlfriend and I believe, and it said, call me urgent. Call him. And then he tells me what has happened.
You still have that text message?
I do.
So you call him and he tells you?
Yes,
Do you remember what told you?
When I got on the phone, he asked me if I was sitting down, and I was asking him if everything was okay, is anything wrong, and he said something terrible has happened, I could tell that he was emotional. He goes on to tell me that my mother and brother have been shot and killed, and it gets to the point, and then he hands the phone to my Uncle Randy, and then he proceeds to tell me the same thing, and I told him that I am getting my stuff prepared and that I am on the way home.
Wait. This is when Alec called him? That is so weird to me. I did, and who is that contacted you? My dad sent a text message that contained my girlfriend and I believe it said, call me urgent, call him. And then it tells me what happened. You still have the text message, you have, okay. I forgot about this. Remember, when Alec Murdaugh found the bodies of Paul and Maggie, the first 3 people that he called were, I think, his 2 brothers. And then lastly, the third person was Roro. What was his name again? Rogan, Seth Rogan. That's Rogan. He was one of Paul Murdaugh's friends, and he testified. Alec called him like Roro to establish some sort of like deep connection with him. Like, oh yeah, I'm so close with Roro, you know? Dude, he didn't even call Buster like ASAP. And you know, the reason why he probably called Roro was because Roro was calling Paul, and Alec was probably like, oh shit, like why is Roro calling Paul? Like his cell phone's out here. So yeah, very shady things. And then also another thing was that if Alec Murdaugh truly thought that his family was being targeted and they were, you know, victims of these people who were crazed online people who are coming after Paul Murdaugh for the boating accident, well, you would try to get a hold of your son ASAP. So based on what I'm hearing right now, it seems like Alec Murdaugh called his brothers. The brothers came over to his property, and that's when they decided to call Buster together? That makes no sense. You would call right away just to make sure Buster's safe. No, it's not Seth Rogen. What's the name? His name was Rogan, though.
And I don't know if you know how to answer this, but I mean, when you get that news.
Oh, Rogan Gibson. Rogan Gibson. The kid who lived the road, down the road knew before Buster because Alec was trying to cover his arse. Oh, who was that, Nicole?
I mean, does your mind go to thinking about how that could have happened, or maybe did you
Hey, Drink.
start wondering how that could have occurred?
Yes, and just didn't understand how to really comprehend it. My main focus was getting my things together and getting down there to my family as soon as possible.
And you told your girlfriend, I'm sure about.
Yes, my girlfriend was in bed. We were in bed together. She heard me on the phone. I told her what had happened when I got off the phone. She immediately started packing her stuff, and she drove me down to Moselle.
So she drove you. Did she drive you in your Yukon?
She did. She drove her car down to Moselle.
What kind of car did she have?
She has a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Rogan, he lived nearby. Rogan was also out of town or something, right? That's why he wanted Paul to take care of his dog, because there was like a tail thing going on. Was that what it was?
What color is that?
It's white.
Joe Rogan.
South Carolina tags.
Is she from Rock Hill, or?
She is.
Get all the Rogans.
So she drives you to Moselle. What did you know about by the time you get down there?
We left probably around 11. Got there maybe a little bit shy of 2 a.m. Right around 2 a.m.
And do you have any more conversations with your family once you're there, I guess?
Once I
Does
get
anybody
there.
give you any more details, I guess, about what has happened? Does anyone?
No, sir. Just go inside. Me and my dad embrace very emotionally, and try to just start.
All right. So one thing I want to touch on, and I've still got. I know it probably seems like we've gone through your whole life story here, and I'll get a little tedious in the way I ask these questions, but a lot of times asking things will get another thing to swine her off on. I will circle back, but when your father called, he did make mention to Paul receiving threats. He said something about he's been receiving threats, and he said something about my son knowing who they are, and I think he kind of makes reference to you knowing something about those threats, and I don't.
He specifically said that Paul's been like hit a couple of times, punched in the face or something like that. But if you talk to any of Paul's friends, none of them ever mentioned any of the physical, anything physical going on with the people harassing Paul. It was mostly just them like yelling things at him. But no one ever mentioned like Paul actually getting like jumped or anything like that. It was Alec Murdaugh who mentioned it because he probably wanted to make the situation more severe than it really is, just to show that like, hey, it really is someone that's going after Paul.
I don't know if you're aware of that or whatever, but it kind of brings me to the next thing here.
Hi, Christine.
That's why I asked you about your thought process just now. And certainly you've had more time to talk about it and process it since that time. But I'd like to talk a little bit about that comment and those feelings and these threats and so forth. And there may be multiples. It may be one significant one, but I'll let you start. I see you nodding. You must have something in mind.
Well, I understood when he used to tell me what happened. I didn't understand of anybody, directly messaging him and threatening in his life and things of that such. The things that I knew about were, if he was out somewhere, somebody would, brush up with him, call him, piece of shit and all these other things. And, that was mostly my understanding of what he was going through, is that he would try to go places with his friends, and then there was always somebody there that wanted to.
Yeah, see, I was trying to see if Buster's story is going to align with his dad, where it's like, oh, yeah, Paul's been jumped like a couple of times. Like, people came after him. But it doesn't seem like that's so. Oh, man, Alec Murdaugh. What a dummy.
Make a comment or stir something up in that sense.
So he never tells you about, like, I got a text message, somebody threatening me. I never got somebody DMing me or sending something on some other social media or dropping by the house or spray painting something or anything overt like that somebody was threatening.
No, sir. He never told me anything about anything like that. I never was aware of anything like that.
But he would tell you about people maybe intimidating him or making those kind of comments and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Along those lines.
There had actually been several physical assaults on Paul.
Okay.
I don't know any details.
Do we know if any of them had actually been reported to authorities?
I do not know. I know that there was at least one physical assault in Charleston, but I don't know if you were aware of that or not.
I was aware of that.
Okay. And Danny, just briefly, I apologize.
Wait. So was there one? Why was that not mentioned before? Okay, so the other person who's interviewing the back, or I guess one of the police officer, mentioned something about a physical assault in Charleston. But it's kind of interesting why you wouldn't just lead with that, because that's the most severe thing, right? Instead of saying like, oh yeah, like, people said stuff to him. You'd be like, no, he was like attacked. Oh.
So terrible with last names.
Henderson.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'll try to get you on mine as well. We all know about the boat incident, and I'm not trying to assume too much, but I'm guessing that a lot of these threats and so forth are coming as a result of that boat incident as one of the primary things. Am I wrong in that?
That's always what I thought.
That's been 100% of it, you think, or has there been other reasons? Or
I think that's been the cause.
Okay. As far as the other passengers on that boat, Anthony and Connor and the other girls and so forth on there, did you ever have any, or did he ever express any specific concerns about any of them posing a threat, threatening, and being frightened of them? Anything along those lines, specifically related to those people?
No, sir.
Oh. I wonder if was Alec Murdaugh trying to pin it on them? I don't remember. Those were the other people that were on the boat, and I think they were trying to pin it on them, saying they drove it.
That you're aware of, any other enemies, rivals, anybody else who you've considered or thought about, or that he's directly told you about that might have went on?
No, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that you can look up on, Facebook that say all these terrible things and whatnot. Their names I couldn't relate to you. I just, I know there were a lot of people out there that were upset about the things that had happened and had expressed that to him in public situations. Now, I don't know any of.
Hey,
Short
Bleep.
Kit and NMP.
What's going on? Oh my gosh, that's so loud. Hey, Bleep, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for the reset for 38 months on Twitch. What's up? Happy Sunday. How are you? Are the cookies still around, or are they gone now?
Them by their name.
Was Paul taking any kind of precautions about these threats? I mean, was he? I mean,
Wait, full screen. Okay. Dude, the 100 pills thing? Alec has seen to the different verses after popping 100 pills a day. Alec Murdaugh, the multiverse of insanity.
been out to the area, and y'all are all avid hunters and so forth. Obviously, there's a lot of weapons around the house and so forth. Was Paul taking any other, like, precautions or anything to protect himself from these sort of things? I mean,
I don't think so. I mean, really, I'd say the only precaution he took is anytime he went somewhere where these things were known to happen, he would just be around a bunch of his buddies that would be able to, de-escalate any situation that arose.
Did he typically carry weapons with him in his vehicle? Or?
There would occasionally be guns in his truck.
Could you imagine doing a hit on a kid that had a bunch of guns in his property and occasionally carried guns in his car, that you would show up there empty-handed without bringing your own guns, that you would use his guns to shoot them when you plan on murdering him? That's just a wild thing. I don't know if Alec Murdaugh ever thought about that.
Just from forgetting to remove them from the farm and having them be around.
Now, when you say his truck, there's a lot of trucks out there, obviously, and which one was he primarily getting around in?
His primary truck was the F-150 Platinum, but he would also sometimes take the 250 diesel with him too.
Luckily, Buster sounds nothing like his dad, because if Buster sounded exactly like Alec, Alec would have been like, oh, that kind of sounds like Buster. I think that was Buster at the kennel. I don't know, man. I don't think it would be beneath him to blame it on Buster if he had opportunity to.
F-150 Platinum, is that the black one?
No, sir. No, sir. It's a white truck.
It's a white truck. You know about what year though?
I don't. I'd like to say around the 14-15 mark. The black one is it was my old truck.
Black, the 150, the Lariat.
Yes. Yes. And it stays down there for when I come and need to use it.
It's just kind of a getting around down there truck.
Correct.
And so he also uses, you said, a diesel.
He does. Like if he ever puts his truck in the shop, or he ever got to make some, he'll come down to Moselle, get the diesel, take it back to Columbia for a couple days, and then come back and trade them back out.
So actually, let's back up a little bit and talk about Paul some then. You say he'll come down from Columbia. So was he primarily staying in Columbia?
He was during the academic year. He was going to school there.
Where does he stay at in Columbia?
He has an apartment in. It's called like.
Yeah, my sister does that too. She loves.
I get him confused.
My sister loves touching her face, her eyes. It triggers me so much. I'm like, oh God, oh no, don't do that. Wash your hands.
It's one or the other.
Okay, I think I know about where you're coming from. Does he live in the apartment alone, or
No. There's a boy in there that stays with him. Who's one of the boys down for Memorial Day.
Right.
He stays in there.
He's a good friend of his.
He is. Yes, sir.
That'd be allergy season. Hey, good guy, how are you doing today?
So he's there during the academic year, and now that that's over, so had he left Columbia and now was staying at Moselle? Do you know where he was staying leading up to this?
He was kind of all around. He'd go stay at Moselle. I know he'd love to go down to Charleston towards more of the weekend and stuff like that. It just really depends on what was going on at the time, where he was going to be. It was very sporadic like that.
Right. When he stays in Charleston, is there a place down there?
Not that he just has multiple friends, and he'll stay with one of them.
Okay. Did he ever stay in Edisto?
Yeah.
Weeks and other times?
Yes, sir. We stayed down at Edisto too.
Been on his own sometimes. Now, when he stayed at Moselle, did he stay in the main house usually? Did he stay in one of the outbuildings or anything like that?
Yeah, he would stay in the main house.
And now, to your knowledge, just touching again on Moselle, your mother and father stay in the main house usually?
Yes, sir.
Do they ever split time between places? Stay in other houses or other places?
Yeah.
You know of?
Mom was doing a lot of renovations down at the beach house, so sometimes she would be staying down there.
Okay.
And Dad would obviously be staying to go to work in Moselle. And she was always back and forth a lot. She'd go up there, and then she'd have to come take care of some stuff down at the farm, and she'd go back and forth.
You live on Hilton Head, where Buster moved after the trial. Oh, is he still there with his girlfriend, right?
Generally speaking, starting with, your family's obviously been under a lot of pressure over the last year or so here. More than a year here, but obviously since the road accident, things have been difficult. I have to imagine that does put some kind of strain on everyone and pressure, and then you have the threats on top of that. And I know this sounds a little personal, but if I don't ask it, somebody else will make up something. That's why I'm asking these
So I'm
questions.
just asking what it is.
Were there any family problems that you were seeing that might have been a cause of that stress, or fights, or you know, any things like that, just in general?
No, sir, no family problems. I mean, obviously people are going to be upset about it, but no, it never caused any tension between any of us.
As you can see.
Yes, sir.
So, to your knowledge, there weren't any times where maybe your family were spending time apart, or they were spending time apart from Paul, or anything like that? Any kind of family division that you were aware of, any of that kind of thing?
I don't know. I mean, just when people had to do what they had to do in a different area, then we would usually all meet up for weekends and whenever we could.
And as we talked, y'all were together on Memorial Day weekend, and you described that as a good family weekend, no significant problems that you know of.
Yes, sir.
Like that. All right, so getting back, I guess, a little bit more, you know, we talked about the threats, we covered that. Had you ever talked to your father about any of the threats or any of the stuff that Paul had brought up to you, or did you ever go to him about concern and tell him that, hey, you know?
Wait, hold on. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. Ain't trying to get a UTI. Give me a second. Oh. I want to ask Buster how everyone treats him nowadays since his dad was found guilty. It's probably hard. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a lot of sympathy, but then at the same time, a lot of people kind of just giving you the side eye. I don't know. He blends in so well, it's difficult to pick him out in a crowd. Just kidding. I haven't seen him. I think he's even a low profile. I don't know anyone else who's run into him either.
Paul's telling me this, or
Yeah, did I ever go to my dad?
yeah, about that.
I just said that I was worried about him. You know, that he likes to go places and he seems to be getting a lot of lip from a lot of people, and just that I basically, giving up my sympathy, really, just saying.
Hey, DJ. Wait, you got a UTI right now? What? That sucks. Oh, no. Are you on like anti-vax or anything like that? They're the worst. I rarely hear men getting UTIs because men have like a longer urethra apparently, and it's harder for them to get an infection. Women's like a lot shorter. Fucking annoying. Oh, from a kidney stone. No. How did that happen? I'm sorry. I'm so curious. Dude, you had to pass a kidney stone? My friend went through that, and yeah, fucking painful. Ouch. Really? Oh. Are you used to it now?
Your father about any of the stuff?
I don't know. I'm sure he was. They were very close. Through everything. They had gone through everything together. So I'm sure that he was notifying him, probably even more so than he was notifying me.
Is there any medication that you can take that helps, or do you kind of just have to pass it and be on like pain meds or something? Oh no.
I say that right, Ralph?
Row.
Okay. How long, to your knowledge, has CB worked?
Not long. Let's see. He had just kind of been around right before turkey season started, so probably.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, hit the like button. Join the Discord if you like. Got a Discord section for true crime. If you guys want to post anything in there, if there's any cases you want me to review. And I just updated my Discord, so now we have a movies and like a book section. So it's all combined together. So anyone out there that reads books, post some stuff in there. And then, yeah, thanks for hanging around.
Probably late February, early March area, maybe.
And what is he hired to do there?
He's hired to be just an upkeeper. When we lost our other fella, everything had kind of gotten grown up and a little bit out of sorts, and he was there to, kind of work on equipment if it was broken, plow and plant food plots, fix deer stands, just a general manager of the property.
And that's basically the same thing his predecessor had done.
Yeah.
How did they go about hiring him?
I'm not sure. Dad, I spoke to Dad one day, and he said that he was meeting with a fella that he thought would be a good fit to work out there and take Ronnie's spot. And then I said, okay, great, we need somebody out there.
Oh yeah, we saw this interview. It's when like the Fox Nation docuseries was coming out. Do you guys watch it by any chance? The Fall of the House of Murdaugh. Y'all watch that? I did not watch it. I wonder if Murdaugh got money for that. Because I know he got in trouble in prison because he was, what did he do again? Oh, God. They took his tablet away because he was trying to do the interview and when he wasn't supposed to. And then Jim might have gotten in trouble. I don't know. Or Harpootlian.
There, and he's called back and said that he'd hired this fella and that he was going to start working out there and helping.
You ever get any information on him while he worked there? On was he doing a good job? Was he not doing a good job? I mean, did you ever hear from either Paul or from your father or your mother about the kind of job he was doing?
I had heard that he'd done some things that they were displeased with. I know he killed a bunch of sunflowers and other plants, but for the most part, I think he was doing what was asked of him, and it wasn't in a huge row about stuff like that. Paul's also very picky when it comes to the property, so he wants everything to be perfect.
How do you kill sunflowers, dude? I put a bunch of sunflower seeds in the ground, and like usually I kill a lot of plants, but my sunflowers, they were thriving. They were looking good. I feel like you don't really do much. I don't know. You don't really do much to them. You only seen the Netflix one? Yeah, I saw the Netflix one. I didn't watch the Fox one. Kidney stones suck. The one time I passed, I was on the ground in tears. You never get used to it. Just a better diet. Are there certain diets that trigger it? I'm trying to think. No, I'm thinking about gout, because I know like seafood and sometimes like red meat will trigger gout. It's a joke from a long time ago. I had a friend, it was a streamer friend, who would call Discord Dick Sword, and it kind of just stuck, and it's been there forever. A lot of soda back in my day. 12 pack of soda a day. Ugh, blah, blah. That's so much.
And so Paul did a fair amount of work out there himself.
Yes. Yeah, Paul did a huge amount of work.
Now, was that his only job, or Paul had some other stuff he was doing, or was it primarily working on the property?
When he wasn't in school, he was really primarily working on the property. I know he had spoken about going and starting to maybe help Uncle John do some stuff over there at his business, but I don't know if that had formed yet. So other than school, it was pretty much either he was at school or he was doing something around the property.
John, your uncle?
Yes.
And what is his business?
It's the Murdaugh Rental Company. He sells rental equipment.
Okay. So he'd be working over there assisting him with rental equipment sales?
Yeah, and like I said, he had just mentioned, I'm not even sure that had started at all.
Okay. So with CB being hired, is CB reporting to Paul, or is Paul just working in concert with him? Or?
No, Paul just understands some things that needs to be done, and Dad gives us authority. When he hires somebody, that if we want something him to do, we're allowed to go tell him that we want him to do something. And Paul, would obviously help and would oversee a lot. So, CB did something, Paul would go and look at it, see what the product was like. But no, in the end, he reported to Dad.
Katie, I apologize. I've been doing a lot of talking up here. If you need to elaborate on something I've asked a question about, please chime in.
Oh,
okay. All right, so he killed some sunflowers, some other things. Anything else he had done job performance-wise you heard about? Or
No, just I would get a call here or there talking about, hey man, CB messed this up. And then I wouldn't put.
Is this from Paul?
It'd be from Paul or from Dad, or even I guess Paul would tell Mom sometimes, and even she would call me and tell me what Paul had said. But that was really about it that I understood. I would shake a.
No, he didn't flip off anyone during the witness stand. He was just chewing his fingers. Like, you'll see him occasionally. He'll like chew his like middle finger. I don't think he was trying to flip anyone off. I think he was just chomping away.
Yeah. When I'm
getting some that dead skin off.
Shake a lot of it off.
Was there any
he reported to Dad. I think he was talking about CB Rowe. That CB Rowe didn't report to Paul. Ultimately, he reported to the Dad. I don't think he was talking about Paul.
Talk about firing CB because of this stuff? Is that anything?
Never that I heard.
Yeah.
I don't believe the middle finger thing.
And he's still working there now. Is that
correct? Yes, sir. Yeah, he's working there yesterday.
Anybody else work out on the property?
Yeah, we do have a house lady that works inside the house, cleaning the house.
Who's that?
Her name is Blanca.
Blanca.
Blanca?
I assume so.
Don't know her last name?
No, I don't know her last name.
How long has Blanca worked at the house?
Blanca's been working there now for about, I'd say she's been there for a while. Maybe even like a year or so.
Wait, I thought Blanca was there for like years working with Maggie, no? Like a couple of years? Guys, please don't talk about food. I'm so hungry right now. I have not eaten lunch yet. Y'all are making me hungry. Shut up. Back to my Taco Bell. Shut up. I hope you get diarrhea and it splatters all over the walls. You have to clean it. I got gallstones at 16-17. Took 3 attacks before they realized. Doctor said it was because your diet. Vegetarian to 7. A little too fried, fatty food. It was, oh God. I'm sorry to hear about that. It sounds horrible. Sushi, shut up. I hate all y'all. Shut up. I'm hungry. What should I eat?
So is Blanca there like every day, every couple days a week?
It depends. Her schedule changes, but she'll come, you know, either a couple days in a row, a day, not be there, and then come a day.
Indian
it
food.
fluctuates.
Does she live nearby?
I don't know. I think she lives in Brunson, maybe.
Anything you can say about her that you know her? I mean, any issues with her?
No issues with her. She's, you know, she's just a nice lady. She just, you know, she comes in and sweeps and mops and laundry and stuff like that.
Okay. Block ever bring any family members out to the property, or that you know of? Or
No, sir.
Like that?
Mm-mm.
And so she has access to the house and so forth. Does she clean out on any of the other grounds, or is it just a house thing, as far as you know?
No, it's just a house. And if we do something, she'll also clean the cabin occasionally. But it's mostly everything takes place up at the big house for her.
And when you say the cabin, that's that building when you're coming up the road.
It
the
is.
Kennels on your right.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody stay in the cabin regularly?
No one stays in there regularly.
Anybody stay in there occasionally?
Occasionally, yeah. Like sometimes if we're gonna have a crowd of people over, we'll say we're gonna stay at the cabin just to, you know, give mom and dad some peace, not keep them up at night.
I'm trying to concentrate on Buster, okay? You guys over here saying lasagna, tofu, vindaloo, Indian food, sushi. I actually do have food in the fridge that I can eat, because I was thinking about going to Chipotle and just picking something up, but I do have leftovers. I got Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop food. We picked up some pizza. No, I'm not gonna eat the pizza though. Pizza now. We got some lasagna. No, we don't have lasagna. We have what's the other one? Bolognese. Yeah, we got some bolognese, and then we got some Hainan chicken rice and some soup. Ooh, kimbap. Shut up. I'm trying to focus on Buster.
How many people with the cabin accommodate?
It's got a double bed. It's got 3 twins and 2 pull-out couches. So I mean, if you had to, I guess you could really sleep. You can sleep 10 people in there.
It's going back to CV just for a little bit. So and he works the whole property and all. Does he do anything inside the house?
No, sir. Closest he'll get to the house is he may be asked to blow off the porch.
Yeah, Blanca has Bubba. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I don't know what happened to the other kennel dogs, though. I created the most delicious snack the other day. Angel fried cake. I know I just said I eat little to no fried food. This was air fried, but you do put a little bit of oil on it, and it's delicious. That sounds amazing. How do you make that? You got Paltrow's. This smells like my vagina scented food. Ew, the hell. It was delicious, okay? Her food is actually really fucking good. If you ever go to her Goop Kitchen, I think it's only in LA or something like that. Pizza's pretty decent. She got rotisserie chicken. She got this bomb-ass Chinese chop salad, and the soups are pretty good. Yeah, like, it's pretty bomb. I eat it once in a while, though, but it's pretty damn good.
But no, he doesn't do anything inside.
Do you know anything about him personally? Family life, history, any of that kind of stuff?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I met him one day and he broke down like all these jobs he used to have. I didn't really retain a whole lot of it, I know.
Anything that stood out to you?
No. I know that he was, I don't know, since he's been working, I know he was prosecuted in a case when he was teaching at Thomas Hayward Academy.
Oh, this is CB Rowe?
Know anything about that?
No, I don't know anything about it. I just knew that it occurred.
Is it because he told you about it, or because you heard through other means?
No, because I heard it through somebody. Can't remember where that came from either. Maybe mom.
Anybody else that works out there?
No, sir. That's it.
You familiar with the gentleman that feeds the dogs?
Oh, Dale. Dale does. Yeah, Dale works out there. I'm sorry.
Dale, you know his last name?
I know what Letitia Stout ain't eating tonight. She ain't getting no kosher food, sorry.
No, I don't.
When we talk about prison food, Letitia Stout, all the fucking way, all the complaints that she wrote, oh my God.
You know anything that much about Dale?
No, I just know Dale shows up twice a day, sprays the kennels out, feeds the dogs, and feeds the chickens, and gives them all water.
Yeah, Dale. We like Dale.
You ever had any problems with the animals on the farm? Anybody ever try to harm them, poison them, shoot them, any of that kind of stuff?
No, sir.
Issues with animals turning up mysteriously dead, or vandalism to the kennels? Any of that
No,
kind
I
of
mean, we've had some chickens die, but that's just because chickens die.
Nothing unusual.
No, sir.
Nah, that's because Bubba be after them.
So y'all got several outbuildings in that house. You've got the cabin, and you've got the main house itself, the thing there. And the vehicles that are there, and Are there ever any weapons just left in any of those locations? As far as weapon storage out there in that area, do you know primarily where weapons are kept? Is it unusual to have them in other places?
Primarily, weapons are kept up at the big house in what we call the pool table room. It's like the gaming room, and there's a big gun cabinet in there. But yeah, weapons are always forgotten. We'll go on hunts, and it's never unusual to find a gun in a car or in a Ranger, or I mean, even leaned up in the shed. I've left a shotgun up there before sometimes after duck hunts and whatnot. But yes,
You left the shotgun where?
I just know that I've left them around at times. Nothing specific.
Nothing specific. Ever had any of these guns go missing, or?
Just Paul's gun.
Not to my knowledge. I know that for Christmas one year, me and my brother both got 300 blackouts, and I know that one of those went missing. But I mean, we got them 3 years ago, so one went missing a while ago.
You know how that happened?
I don't.
I love Indian food. My arse doesn't. Always issues afterwards. With Indian food, just don't get spicy, right? What's messing with Indian food? Oh man, Indian food is so good. But yeah, I try to stay away from the spicy stuff now because I think my stomach is just too sensitive. I don't know, man. I love spicy food, but my mouth doesn't love it. My stomach doesn't love it. That's what I was saying too, Rihanna. And I was like, dude, I would be so worried if I purchase a gun and then it just goes missing. Like, what if someone uses it for a murder and then I don't know. It just sounds really scary. Lying around everywhere. But I don't know if that's just like a rich people thing. That might just be like a Southern people thing, you know?
Still have yours? Or?
I do, yes, sir.
Where's yours at?
Well, it was at the
Like a country people thing.
I think it's been taken now.
Is that the only two of those particular weapons y'all owned? Or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's just two.
When you say it was taken, you think law enforcement took it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know anything about the one that went missing, how that happened?
I don't.
Okay. That one belonged to Paul?
Yes, sir. It was. That was the one he was gifted.
I got it for
You
Christmas.
mentioned those two specifically, but are there any other guns you can remember that might have either gone missing or were suspected stolen, or
No,
maybe
sir.
guests out there or anybody that might have
Not other than that one.
ever sold any of the weapons out there, or know if your brother sold any of the weapons out there?
I don't know. I'm sure they have. But as far as the ones that I know that are mine, they're all there, but not to my knowledge. No, I don't remember him selling anything or anything like that.
Which ones would you consider yours?
I have a 243 rifle that is a Tika.
What's a Tika?
I have a 20 gauge Beretta.
Beretta's like a handgun, right? What's a Tika? Vindal, paneer tikka masala. Is that the one with like the green one with the cheese stuff in there? I love that, but I can't have it because it's cheese.
And I have a 12 gauge Benelli.
Benelli? Benelli's like shotgun style, right? I don't know. These are just terms that I remember Creighton Waters saying.
And then the blackout, right?
Oh, and the 300 blackout.
Any handguns?
We do have handguns.
When you say we, you mean individually, or y'all just have handguns in the safe?
We just have them at the house. We just have a couple.
You keep one in your vehicle or anything?
No, sir.
You keep any of the other weapons in your vehicle as you're traveling back and forth?
No, sir.
Nothing for personal protection, anything like that up there?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, but I saw Tika and I was thinking chicken tikka masala. It's a brand of a rifle. Gotcha. Okay, we learning. Have you been paying attention to what's been happening in the S word? It's sick. I don't know. What's been going on with the S word. I haven't had anything pop up in my feed lately.
Yeah, what guns he owned, or which ones were his?
Yeah, a little bit more than I did. I know he's got same thing, 12, 20 gauge. I think his are both Benelli. I know he's got.
I think about you have 20 gauge Beretta. You think he's got 20 gauge?
I know he's got. I think he's got a 20 gauge. I think he's got a 20 gauge Benelli. I don't know, because a lot of them Dad buys and we just use them as like commutal.
Yeah.
But the ones that I guess he said what would be his is, I know he's got a 20 gauge Beretta, the same one as mine. We just have two of them.
Okay.
And then he's got 12 gauge Benelli. And he's got a couple. He's got a 270 short mag. He's got a 7mm 08.
Oh, Beretta's a shotgun too? Really?
And obviously he had one of the blackouts that is missing.
You know when that went missing?
No, I know it wasn't far off from when we got him in Christmas, maybe 6 months to 8 months, maybe to a year after that. So it's multiple years it's been gone.
Beretta, because like isn't that like what gangsters use? Beretta? That's where I've heard of Beretta from. Like Beretta, Glocks. That it's a broad range of firearm. Oh, it could be shotgun, rifles, rifle. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know shit. Oh, it's a brand. Okay.
You said 1 year, Christmas. Did you say what year?
It would have been the Christmas of.
Wait, what about a Glock then? Is a Glock like a type of weapon, kind of like shotgun, rifle, handgun?
Would have been the Christmas of 2018.
Let's talk about the kennels for a little bit.
The what?
I want to talk about the kennels.
Okay.
And obviously, you know, that's where things happen down there.
Yes, sir.
I just want to talk about maybe some routines down there. Your mother frequented the kennels, I suppose. Is that...
My mom did frequent the kennels. When she was in Moselle, she loved to go down there and, you know, she would let the dogs out and do all that. So she was down there often.
What's your mother, if we can talk about her for a moment, just digressing from the kennels just a little bit.
Oh, Maggie.
Her day-to-day as you understood it, did she have any kind of work she did, side jobs, volunteering, anything that she passed her time with?
Nothing like that. She would just, you know, her day-to-day were, you know, getting things for us done that we needed.
Okay.
And taking care of anything around the house and planning anything or whatnot.
And it sounds like she was doing some renovations at the beach house in Edisto. Was she having contractors do that work, the stuff she was doing, or?
Yeah, she was doing some inside stuff with a interior decorator and also some contractors. Yeah, they were redoing some ceilings and some flooring and stuff like that. And then she had gotten a decorator in there and they were doing that. And then her most recent thing is she was getting a couple local builders were fixing the porches and the staircases.
There's a constant need at the beach. So when she's not down there at Edisto doing that and working on that, you don't know of any other things she might have been doing, any other side work, volunteering, anything like that?
No,
she talked about.
No, she didn't do any side work or any volunteer, nothing like that.
Did you spend any time with any other family members?
Oh yeah, she frequented. Or wait, what now?
Any other family members, like extended family or like her family?
Yeah, she would always, you know, she was always in pretty constant contact with her mother and her sister, and you know they would see each other pretty frequently, whether they'd go to Somerville and have lunch with their mom, or they go shopping in Charleston or anything like that.
Mother lives in Somerville.
My mom's mom lives in
I'd rather have a bow than a gun. Bows are hard to use. You ever seen people go to like go learn to do like archery and stuff? That shit looks hard, and sometimes you like scrape it against your skin, and like I don't know, it's tough. I've always wanted to try it, but it looks tough. You posted angel fried cake. Oh, thank you. Are you in my Discord? Can you post in the Discord? Is it a link? Because for some reason, I can't see links, even though I should be able to see links, but I can't see links for some reason. And people posted in my YouTube chat. I don't know why. But y'all can see links. I just can't see them. I don't know if there's a YouTube setting where it's like, oh, you know, the streamer doesn't want to see links. I don't know.
Somerville. Yeah.
My apologies. Mother's mother lives in Somerville.
You trying to be Katniss Evergreen or Legolas?
And her sister?
Sister lives in Charleston.
Sister lives in Charleston.
I'll take a scythe. I want a scythe.
She spent a lot of time there at Moselle?
Mom?
Would you say? Yes.
Yeah. You know, we were there usually. Our kind of routine was we were there kind of when it was cooler and during a hunting season, and then towards the summer when it kicked up, we would be more, and she would be more down to the beach.
What was the motive for these murders? The motive, presumably, was that Alec Murdaugh, the dad who murdered everyone, he had been scamming his clients at the law firm. He was also scamming his colleagues as well at the law firm in general. He was just fucking scamming everyone. And things were starting to tumble down, and people were starting to realize, like, oh, you're like stealing money from the law firm, or hey, you're stealing money from the client. And so in order to take that pressure off of him, he kills his son, his wife, the day that he was confronted by the COO, and probably was just trying to get sympathy, just to get the heat off of him. And also the son that he murdered, not this son, this is the surviving son. His other son that he murdered was involved in a boating accident as well. And because of the boating accident, they were going to start looking into his financials. And so maybe if he gets rid of Paul, maybe, you know, he'll get the sympathy. Maybe they don't look into the financial stuff. But I mean, honestly, it really just doesn't make sense because they would still go after you anyways. It's not like, oh my God, your family died. We're just going to stop all of a sudden coming after you, you know? But at the same time, you know, no one said that Alec Murdaugh was a smart man, a very foolish man. But yeah, it's a pretty fucking dumb motive. And a lot of people, I think, had a hard time believing that could be the motives for the murders because it just sounds really fucking dumb. But then again, you know, motive for murder always dumb. It's always like jealousy. It's always money. It's always things silly like that. So I can see Corey being the Grim Reaper. I did watch. You guys watch Hostel? I watched Hostel recently. Hostel 1 kind of sucks, but Hostel 2 was pretty fucking good. There's a scene with Heather Matarazzo where she like dangles upside down, and this lady has a scythe, and she's just like whacking away at her back. Oh god, creepy scene. Definitely like a was it Bloody Mary? What's the name of the lady again who would kill virgins and like bathe in their blood or something like that? What was it again? Mary Bathory or something? Oh, so creepy. He could have just snapped. Nah, so like we thought maybe he snapped and he just went like batshit crazy insane, but I don't think he snapped. If you saw his demeanor after the murders, I think he planned it. Because he called typically the house where they were being murdered, that they were murdered at. Maggie wasn't planning on staying there. She was already in Edisto, the beach house, doing some renovations. Paul, I think, was at his friend's house. So Alec, after that day, he called Maggie and Paul over to like, hey, come to the come to the Moselle house. So I don't think it was just like he just like snapped, because typically it's like something happens, you snap and it happens, right? But he had like hours when he was like hanging out with his son. They were doing things together, like planting sunflower seeds in the fields. They were laughing about the tree falling over. They had dinner together. Like they were doing things together. It wasn't like he got fired from his job. He went home and shot up his entire family. It's like he was at his work. He was confronted. And then a couple hours passed by. He hangs out with his son, does some stuff, eats dinner with his family. They go to the kennels together and boom, boom. That's when it happened, right? So, yeah. I think he planned it. And I think he did it because he wanted the heat to be taken off of him. He wanted that sympathy. He wanted people to be like, oh my God, like, poor Alec Murdaugh, like this happened to you. Boo hoo hoo. And then also I feel like the roadside killing thing, I keep saying, I would say roadside assistant. The roadside killing thing kind of just really nailed it for me even more because the day that he was confronted about stealing money again, he did the roadside shooting thing. He fabricated the whole thing. So I think whenever there's pressure about him and the finances stuff, he just fabricates this whole thing and like just, or not fabricates. It's the word that I'm looking for. Not fabricate, but he concocts this thing where he tries to get the heat off of him. So yeah. What did Rain say? I didn't see that. Bleep, you stink too. I can smell it from here. We all do. Gross. It's a Taco Bell. You're gassy right now. Creates, yeah, that could have been one too. Yeah. There's another word that I was looking for. Not architect, but yeah. Something of that similar effect.
As we all would.
Charles.
Yes.
What about like a best friend? Excuse me. I have flowers blooming in the field next to my house, and I might die from it. It's not COVID. I've been tested. What about like best friends? Like, would she have friends over to the house?
I don't know, lady. You wearing a mask over there? It might be the flu or something. Might be a cold. What you got over there?
In Moselle, or would like a best friend or somebody like that, somebody close to her that wasn't necessarily family, would go with her anywhere?
Or
Not
put the window
usually.
down.
I mean, Moselle's such a desolate area.
Yeah.
But her most frequent conversations, truly took place with who was but that, I mean, that's really it. I know she spoke to a lot on the telephone, and they have a place not too far down the road from where our farm is. But those were her, strict, deep contacts.
So there was really nobody else like she would confide in, or like if something was wrong, did you know of anybody she'd like call up and say, hey, I got to get this off my chest or anything like that?
No, nobody other than those people that I've named.
No, okay.
When she would go to the kennels, I mean, was there a set routine to how she did that or so forth?
I don't think so, and I don't know. I didn't go with her all the time. I just think she, and she also she would like to walk. She would walk from the house to the kennel. She would like to do that for exercise. And then when she got in there, I think she just kind of played with the dogs. She would maybe feed a dog, spray out a kennel if she needed to, if it was dirty. She'd walk up there. Sometimes I'm assuming we used to get packages at the shed. Maybe she would check for packages.
Dogs themselves, I mean, were any of them, did any of them specifically belong to any specific members of the family, or?
Well, we would kind of title them that way, but they were all just family dogs. Like my black dog's up there, who I claim as mine. But other than that, I know Bubba was a family dog. Paul just had gotten a dog, but he's off at obedient camp. My grandfather's dog would be out there often. My buddy Rogan's dog would be out there often because he worked all day, and he would check him into the kennel and then come get him in the evening. And then we had a couple.
Rogan is
Rogan Gibson.
Where does Rogan live?
He's been going in between, but his house is out on. But he's the way his work's lined up, he's been staying with his girlfriend because he's been working more.
He has a dog out there as well.
He does. He just got a puppy, and he'll put it out there if he needs to go do something for a little while.
What's the name of Rogan's dog? Because, you know, technically, I know everyone's giving attention to Bubba, but we also got to give it to Rogan's dog, too. If Rogan's dog didn't have that crooked tail, there would have been a Snapchat video to begin with. What's the name of Rogan's dog? We got to give some love to Rogan's dog as well.
And would it be unusual for Paul to be down there around that same time, as far as you know?
No, Paul was always around, maybe not the kennel, but around that shed area. He liked to work on stuff, so he was usually around any given time around there.
And I asked these questions to lead to something I thought about. I mean, when you find out about this terrible thing that's happened and so forth, and you found out that they were down there, was their presence down there of any kind of surprise to you?
No, sir.
Okay. Buster, do you know anybody who would have wanted to harm your mother?
No, sir.
Anything she ever told you about, any threats, any issues? Anyone you've ever seen threaten her? Anybody else you can think of that maybe temporary work or somebody doing work out of the property might have come out there for some other reason? Could be just a contractor that came out to paint something or work on a car or deliver something out there. Anything
No,
that
sir.
comes to mind that you might be aware of? I know you're not down there as much as the others, certainly.
That I knew of, there was nothing on anybody's calendar of anybody coming to do anything, especially that time in the evening.
Oh, are they done with Alex's interview over there?
As you've had a chance to think about it, and I think I've alluded to this, maybe even pull out asked it, but I mean, as you've thought of it, I mean, do you have any thoughts about who might have wanted to harm anybody?
No, sir. I know people disliked him due to the accident, but I couldn't single out anybody that I know that would want to do what has been done.
Did you ever spend much time with kennels and so forth yourself? And when you came down there, did you ever feed the dogs or one of those areas?
No, I would let I would go down there sometimes. If my girlfriend stayed in Moselle, she's real fond of animals and stuff. She'd like to go look at the chickens and whatever, and I'd go let my dog out for a little while and stuff like that. And I'd hang around the shed too, working on little things and stuff. So I spend a fair amount of time down there as well.
Ask you this: do you ever have any issues? Like, say somebody's out there firing a weapon or something like that. Anybody ever accidentally shoot any of those buildings in the past or something like that? Let a round off or accidentally put one through a wall somewhere?
Any of
like
the shed buildings?
Yeah, any of the buildings out there.
Never that I was aware of.
Anybody? Was it uncommon for anybody to shoot out like in the yard, so forth? I mean, like just out there on the property. I know obviously there was shooting for hunting and stuff, but out there in the grounds. I mean, was it
Like around the area of the shed?
around the area of the shed, around the house, around the processing area, any of those areas? I mean,
by the house we'd do it like that's kind of where we did our skeet shooting.
okay.
It was over there by the house, but no, we didn't fire many. I mean, I never shot anything real close to the shed or anything like that. It was more ever if you were going to try to shoot an animal or something somewhere else.
I was wondering if the detective was just going kind of like, yeah, it seems like a really chill interview. I wonder if the detective is going to grill a little bit harder on Alec Murdaugh or not. Like ask Buster, like, oh, what about your dad? What about the finances stuff? Or did they not know about the finances stuff around this time? Oh, I don't think so. I think it was a law firm who knew, or like certain people who worked at a law firm, but I don't think anyone in the law enforcement knew. Oh, just kidding.
Give me a moment, just so I don't digress too much. I just want to let's do a couple of things here. You've been staying down here since?
Yes, sir. I've been here since Monday, or I guess early Tuesday morning.
Yeah, gone back up. Right?
No, sir.
Girlfriend been down here the whole time?
She has.
Katie, while I'm looking at my notes, if you got something you want to talk about, go ahead.
Buster, what do you think? What do you make of all this? Like,
What do you mean? What do I make of all this?
of all this with your mom and your brother? Do you think maybe someone was after your brother and your mom happened to be down there? Like what is...
I would say if I had to have a take, that's probably what it would be.
Yeah.
I think that someone was probably trying to kill my brother, and that my mom was probably just there.
Do you think that was because of the boat?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sorry for asking that, but
okay.
you know, y'all knew
I'm
them
sure
better
you thought
than
of little
anybody.
else. I mean, to some degree. Any other possibilities you considered?
No, sir.
I want to ask you about something, and I want to preface this by saying this is based purely on rumor, and it's not something we're investigating as an agency, but it's innocent the Smith family. You familiar with what I'm talking about?
I am.
Say it again, please. I missed
The
that.
Smith family. The boy.
Oh, is he going to talk about Stephen Smith rumors about how Buster was involved in this? I wonder what they're going to ask. Because I don't think the Smith family, I don't know if I ever heard about them going after Paul for the boat thing or like harassing him or anything like that. I wonder what they're going to ask about the Smith family. Buster worked in a law firm. Didn't know if he was involved. Yeah, I don't think Buster would be involved. Did he work in the law firm though? Maybe he just worked there as like an intern or something like that, or just like did some, paperwork. Maybe Aaron's boy. But right now, Buster says that he was working for a corporate for like some like wings company or something. He was like doing his own thing.
With it,
Right, I got it. It is.
Has anything about that incident come into play in terms of threats, in terms of your thoughts on this incident, in terms of in any fashion? Is there any part of that, rumors you've heard, accusations, any threats you've had related to that?
No, sir.
Is there anything you want to elaborate on that? I mean, has anyone ever questioned you about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've read the articles and the rumors and saying that, I've had people understand to think that that's what I did. And I've had people message me and stuff and call me a piece of shit and a murderer and a faggot and things like that. But I've never received a formal threat. And I haven't heard a lot about it in a while either.
It's pretty much died off.
I would say that, yes.
When you say messaging, I mean, it's like social media messaging, or
Yeah,
text messaging
this would be Facebook. And Facebook, I think I got a couple off of Instagram as well.
Did you receive any of those kind of messages after the boat incident?
I did. Very similar. But again, never a formal threat.
Anyone you ever recognized?
No, sir. Never anybody that I knew who they were.
Did you ever do any kind of looking to see if there was somebody who might have at least been, nothing else, geographically able to carry out a threat or something like that? Or
I
ever look
didn't.
into who it was?
I didn't. I didn't take much away from it. I figured the people were just saying stuff.
Have you saved any of that stuff? Screenshotted any of it?
I haven't saved any of it. It might still be in the, in the far lowers of my messages. But actually, to be honest with you, I think I probably deleted some of it too because I just didn't enjoy looking at it.
When we conclude here today, what I might ask as you go forward, as fun as it might be, is that maybe you go back and see what might be there, and then maybe see about screenshotting that and provide it to us. On the off chance that a name might pop up that might be useful to us down the road.
Yes, sir.
I'd encourage you to do that.
Charles, let me add, I have been involved with the family primarily just trying to keep Alex straight up since the boat. There was a time there, about a week, 10-day, 2-week period.
So just a little bit of a recap on that. Let me just read this article really quick, just so I don't get it wrong. Because there's a lot of rumors going back and forth. Just want to make sure I hear it straight. Because I think initially they thought it was Buster Murdaugh that was involved. Because one, they said that one of his relatives, I think was Randy, who was at the scene. And they thought that was kind of weird because Randy's a lawyer, but maybe he's there trying to... I don't know why he would be there. Maybe he was just driving by or something. I don't know. Another thing was, I think there's a member of Stephen Smith's family that said that he was potentially seeing someone that was of a prominent family, but wouldn't say who. And I forgot what else. Let's just read this article. Buster, the son of a convicted double murderer, Alex Murdaugh, is breaking his silence about the death of his high school classmate. A new doc set for the release this week, which we didn't watch. Alex Murdaugh's oldest son has been the focus of rumors and speculations surrounding the death of Stephen Smith in July of 2015. Stephen was an openly gay teenager whose body was found in the middle of Sandy Run Road in Hampton, South Carolina. He has suffered head trauma. Now, the only update that I heard recently was Stephen Smith. So they did exhume his body to have it examined for another time, second time, I think. And apparently they're trying to get into his iPad. They thought the iPad was destroyed, but the iPad is not destroyed. And they're going to try to get into it to see if they can collect any information, see who was texting, who was communicating with, and stuff like that. Smith's death was initially ruled a hit and run, but some state troopers investigating the crash took issue with that finding, as was Smith's family. Small-town gossip fueled rumors about Buster Murdaugh's possible relationship with Smith. Buster Murdaugh and Smith were classmates at Wade Hampton High School and played on the same baseball team. Now, Buster Murdaugh is publicly speaking for the first time about the rumors in an interview with Fox Nation host Martha McCallum. The interview is a documentary, Fall of the House of Murdaugh. I never had anything to do with this murder. I never had anything to do with him on a physical level of any regard. Speculation about Buster Murdaugh's involvement in Smith's death intensified early this year after Smith's mother had his body exhumed for a second autopsy. Docs and podcasts also focus on rumors state troopers heard about Buster Murdaugh and Smith during the investigation. The speculation prompted Buster Murdaugh to issue a statement denying what he called vicious rumors. The statement and exhumation followed Alex Murdaugh's trial, in which he was convicted in the June 2021 murders of his wife Maggie and his youngest son Paul. Buster Murdaugh testified in his father's murder trial. The Fox Nation doc is the first time Buster Murdaugh has granted an interview about the murders, or has granted an interview about the murders or Smith's case. It also marks the second time the general public will hear from him. McCallum asked Buster Murdaugh where he was the night Smith was killed. The night Stephen was killed, I was at our Edisto beach house. McCallum followed up with their family, with my mom and brother. McCallum also asked Buster about the impact the rumors have had on him as he mourned the loss of his mother and brother. I don't want to be rude here, but have you ever been accused of murdering someone? Well, let me tell you, this is very, 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 it's a very terrible saying to place on somebody with absolutely no fact. I mean, it has harmed my reputation. I mean, people perceive me as a murderer. The grand jury was impaneled to investigate Smith's death earlier this summer, according to Sandy Smith's lawyer. South Carolina law enforcement, or SLED, has been investigating Smith's death since June of 2021. I wanted to see what the other rumors were, the reason why people thought that he was involved, but that might be, I guess, in a different article. But yeah, I just remember it was something about, apparently Stephen was like maybe seeing someone who had, you know, a very prominent family, and then also it was like Randy Murdaugh, like I think being at the scene, which people just thought it was weird. Hi, honey, how are you doing today? Hello, hello. On YouTube tutorials. Oh, wait, what was the tutorial for? I used to make different videos of like different random stuff. Hi, honey, Havenly, thanks for popping in. How are you? Hello, hello. All right, let's go back to Buster. Oh, this is Alec.
Where the line between the Bode and the Smith thing really got blurred and all mixed up in social media. But then that sort of calmed down. But there was a period of time, and there within several weeks after, where the people were associating one with the other, and just
that's an important distinction to make, Buster. As we sit here, that you certainly have a family resemblance to your brother.
I did hear about the baseball thing, but why were there rumors again? Was it like the Randy thing, Stephen possibly seeing someone, and then was there like a letter, or what was it? There was like another thing too. Why people thought that it was Buster.
And while I'm certainly not saying this was the case, I mean, if someone were angry about the Smith case, is it conceivable they could have found out about your property, come out looking for you, and some kind of scenario like that? I'm not saying that. I certainly don't want to give you any kind of bad feelings, but it's a possibility, like all possibilities we talk about, that we have to consider. So that's why I want to talk to you about if you had any specific people you were concerned about along that avenue.
No, sir. I wouldn't say I had any concerns about that.
Okay.
Oh, not the alarm.
Is there anything I haven't asked you about you expect me to ask you about?
No, sir.
I mean, you feel like we've gone over everything you expected to talk about, or have you talked about everything that might be helpful to us as far as you know?
Yes, sir. You got everything that I know about anything that's happened.
How has your father been with all this? I mean,
He's been.
I don't mean since the death of your brother, but I mean with all the other drama that's leading up to this and all the other stress and so forth. I mean, has he taken it okay? Has it been a problem?
No, I'd say if anything, he's taking it okay. I mean, we're obviously all upset and we're all frustrated about how people say things and turn things into what they turn to.
Wait, I didn't hear about that. Nicole says that's right. They were searching the Murdaugh house. They found something out of the Paul or Buster's room. They gave them the reason to reopen. Like, no, wait, I did not hear anything about that. Where'd you hear about that from? Or am I just like really behind? Oh, the IRL streaming tutorial. Oh, nice. Oh, very cool. Are you going to do like IRL streaming out in public and stuff like that? Do some like travel, exploration? Yeah. Be safe. Have fun. Yeah, be careful.
I'm into, but as far as he was kind of the I guess the platform is always the one telling us not to worry about it, but always kind of the anchor and keeping everything straight and everything like that.
Give me just a moment. See, I know I've been kind of all over the map. I want to make sure I did not come back to something that I told you I would come back to. Happened or what they think happened. Has anyone talked to you about what occurred that night, or
as far as like speculative?
Speculative or actual? Has anyone given you anything that they know that you think we might not know, or that?
No, I mean, the only thing that I understand is, I understand what happened that night, and that's pretty much where my information ends, because I know what happened.
Would you tell me in your words what happened?
Well, from the way that I understand it is that my mom and my brother were down at the kennels, and that, from what it seems to me, is that two people came up and somehow got on top of them and shot him dead.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the boat thing, like, why go after Maggie too because she was a witness? Why not bring their own guns?
What makes you say that it was two people?
I read an article that stated 2 guns.
That's what you base that on?
It is. I have not.
You haven't been anywhere near the kennels or the building?
No, sir.
Because my next question was going to be, having been down there, is there anything that you, with your knowledge of the property, have noticed that was unusual or out of place?
I haven't gone down there.
Okay, I understand.
We already had permission from everybody to go back up to the house before Buster got home.
Yeah.
And we were already back up to the house.
Is there anything different?
Wait, is that Jim back? Is that Jim Griffin? Was that his voice? It sounded familiar, right? It doesn't sound like Jim Griffin. I'm not sure.
Back up to the house.
Is there anything different or odd about the house that you noticed, or anything that may look out of place, like if somebody came into the house while your dad was gone, or and your mom and brother were at the kennels? Have you noticed anything like that?
No, nothing's different like that.
Okay.
Remember the game, is that?
Yes, sir.
You didn't have any other text messages or anything leading up to that?
No, sir.
This time, or internet messages? All right, well, one thing I need to do, and we're asking this of everybody today, is as you know, we've collected a lot of evidence down there at the scene. And because it's a family property that people have frequented here and there, as we gather evidence and we get things like DNA, we need to get elimination samples from the family members here. And the reason why is that if we run something and it comes back unknown person, we have to find out who that unknown person is. If it comes back to a family member, I'm going to expect to some degree that family member DNA is going to be in common areas. Something else.
Has police released that there were 2 guns used at this point? I know that police did make a statement saying that, like, they didn't think the public was at, like, danger. I remember hearing about that. But it's possible that someone could have spoken to, like, a news reporter and someone wrote an article about that. Maybe.
Something on a shared weapon that people touch, something in a vehicle being drove. So what I'd like to do while we're here today is get what's called a buckle swab from you. Do you know what that is?
I don't.
It's a long cotton swab. I've got them in the back. And what I'll do is I'll just rub the inner side of your cheeks. We'll put it in the bag. It'll get sent up and run as comparison evidence for everybody. Do you have any problems submitting to that today?
No, sir.
All right. Well, I'll wrap up there. Katie, what am I missing out on here? I'm sure Buster does not want to sit through another however long we've been talking interview if he can help it.
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Having said that, I will give you the caveat of I'm sure I'm going to get out of here and remember that I didn't text or something. And to that same degree, that's why I gave you my card. If you get out of here and think I should have told that agent this thing, please call me. Let me know. I'll be happy to sit down with you whenever you want to on this.
Yes, sir.
Our goal in this is to get to the bottom of this. It's all it absolutely deserves to be done so.
Yes, sir.
Anything, Danny? You got anything you want to ask us?
You've been thorough and very courteous.
You have any questions for us about this? I don't know how much I can really elaborate on.
Yes, we have a lot of questions, but if there's going to be some elaboration, I think we would prefer it in a group setting.
Understand.
And to the extent that y'all will.
Oh, yeah, that's Jim.
There's so many rumors, and I don't know how else to say it. We're starving for something that just
Yes, we understand.
Well, and we're certainly eager for anything, and anything.
You have not missed anything that I have heard or that I have anywhere in the public or even within our firm privately. You have covered all the bases, and if there was something that was significant that I knew about that you haven't asked about, I would tell you. But
Boy, there's nobody that knows.
Man, but Jim wasn't in the car where Alec is being interrogated right now.
Your family as well as you and your other family members, and
Yeah, 3 days later.
It's always public. A lot of it isn't always easy to talk about, and I want you to think hard about that. And if you do have something, no matter how trivial, no matter how inconsequential.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, Nicole, but I don't know, maybe small town, maybe people talk a lot, maybe, you know, some of the reporters have inside information with the cops. Yeah, I don't know. But I agree with you.
Consequential. I asked you a lot of things that were seemingly inconsequential today. But there's a reason for that, because as a question comes up, if I've already got the answer, I don't necessarily have to do so.
I understand.
Yeah, I know you would.
We don't want to waste too much time going down the wrong road either. So.
And we understand y'all got an investigation to do. We're not trying to impede that or ask you to give us any special favors. But just anything y'all could share. You don't need to share it just with the family, or share it just with Ellie.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it to a crowd. No.
Yes.
Ellie,
What I can tell you
Ellie
just
is
short term,
really-
and we'll get into that, but I can tell you that we have been working nonstop on this. We are considering every single possibility, every aspect of it. You know, and as these things are coming up, and we're sending people to track down leads and run them down, and just like in every investigation, you get something. A lot of times you follow up on it, it doesn't necessarily pan out to be something, but it doesn't mean we don't look into it.
We jumped off a bridge for 2 hours Tuesday night. You know all that? You heard that?
Yeah, I did hear about that. And I have seen some stuff, and I've seen stuff that was attributed to law enforcement that is absolutely false.
Well, yeah,
that is absolutely speculation. That is
I know.
absolutely wrong.
And we're grateful for y'all being upfront with Ellie about that.
Yeah, I can't prevent it if either somebody makes a comment to somebody who doesn't have the same.
The other comment that's been extremely troubling, and I'll just tell you that we've talked about it and been concerned about it, is there was a statement from either SLED or from the sheriff's office. I apologize, I'm not being coy. I don't remember which. That there was no reason for the public to be concerned.
Oh, yeah, this is a statement that I remember hearing.
Well, that's probably and that might have been poor choice of wording. I'm not going to sit there and say yes. That was from the sheriff's office.
And that all that does.
I was the sheriff of Colleton County for 14 months. I was the interim sheriff during that period.
You know where that makes people's mind go.
I think that's a very common phrase they use to mean we're not actively running behind somebody with a gun right now. That we're going to chase them into your house, or maybe lock the school down or something like that. It's probably not the best choice of words, and unfortunately what happens is people fill in the blanks and say, well, this was obviously some sort of domestic thing or something like that. I get where you're coming from, and there's things we can control, there's things we have to go back and say, well,
I get it.
The more we harp on this, the worse we're going to make it a thing.
Buster, you got anything else, man? Please, if you've been completely forthright. If you've got anything else to tell these folks, let's go ahead and anything else you can think of.
No, sir, I'm good.
Buster, is there anything you want to ask us?
No, ma'am.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we'll step out, I will get the buckle swab thing ready. It's not painful. You ain't got any sores or anything in your mouth, any bites inside your lip recently, nothing like that.
Is that Alex?
Yes, sir. How about you? Yes, sir. I hate that it's under these circumstances. Yes, sir. That's me. The red hair gives me away.
Right, that's right.
That's something y'all look for in this family. We can kind of match. I do.
I'll tell you what, rather than do a written one.
Who's that? Is that Harpoolian? That looks like Harpoolian. Is it on the left side over there?
Is it long?
It is.
What I'm going to do is we discussed, I'm just going to get a swab of your inner cheek for a DNA sample for a buccal swab. As we talked about, you consent to us just taking that? Okay.
And Mr. Henderson, you're fine with it as well?
Absolutely. Okay. This is approximately 3:25
Oh, no, that's someone
p.m.
else.
on June 10th. Oh, let's get out of this.
Who said Mr. Henderson? I don't know who Mr. Henderson is.
You're good. Go ahead and you can walk up there. I'm going to shut this door and give y'all some room.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
All right, anything else you can think of? I feel like I've asked you most everything, but again, you should go home and start thinking about this. Any good information you guys can get us in our hospital. We'll find it helps. Okay? All right. Hands might be a little sweaty. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Phone?
Buster, if you will hold on just 1 second. One more thing.
what's up with this microphone.
Yeah, camp. Sorry, we'll shut you out there. No problem. Some of the others have been good enough to give us just dumps of their phones. It's a physical download of the information on their phone that verifies the whereabouts and so forth statements you've given us.
And we may be able to pull some of those Facebook messages that you've gotten to.
My only question is, did Jim allow that to happen with Alex?
My understanding,
If that's the case, certainly yes. But that,
Oh, wait. I don't think Jim was in the car. I think it was this guy that was in the car. He kind of sounds like Jim.
Do you want me to ask?
Yeah, let's ask that, please.
that's why I asked.
Because I am out of my element.
I understand.
I'm out of my element. That's why.
Because Jim might have been in here. I think that might have been Jim back there. Does that look like Jim? No, I think that's Jim and Harpoolian, I think. Possibly.
But if Jim is okay with Alex, and we are absolutely okay.
We've been okay.
Okay, yes, sir. I
What we're
recommend.
trying to do, all
Hey,
that stuff, I've got your phone on.
I don't
It's a good way to shut down the ugly people. We have the stuff right here, so we'll be able to do it and get it right back to you. Yes, sir.
You can send us doing a data download of this. We'll do it. We've got a technician right here with us. We'll get it right back to you.
Yes, sir.
What's that?
Thanks, Kyle. Let me, Jojo. John Marvin and I were talking earlier, and he mentioned that I guess the solicitor was supposed to call me about something to do with the truck keys to
And I don't know,
that white
you'd already
F-250.
left, but it was Sean and
Paul's passcode.
Sean.
No.
Sean's been gone. But Sean and
Tracy! Oh, Tracy's in the past right now. Hi, Tracy. When you're in the future. Hello. Happy New Year's to you as well. Thank you.
Do you happen to know Paul's passcode to his phone?
I do not.
Okay. If you had to guess.
I couldn't guess. Somebody asked me this the other day, and I thought about it, and I got no understanding of where to go with it.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I know my mom.
Yeah.
Do you mind calling the solicitor?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
you don't need to call him, I got the keys.
Well, I don't know if I'm necessarily.
I
yeah.
see, okay.
Yeah, I don't think he communicated that to me very well. So.
John, you bring up the phone when they finish.
Yes, sir. We'll give it to him.
Thank you so much.
How long after this did they figure out it was Alec? I mean, I think when police responded to the scene, I think they just noticed there were some things that were kind of weird. He didn't have like blood in his shirt. It was like completely white. They thought his demeanor was kind of like, but I don't remember. I don't remember because I know a lot of the detectives like testified on the stand. I don't know when they started thinking that it was him. Probably when like it got to the point where not the Snapchat video, because the Snapchat video wasn't out until like half a year plus later, like maybe 8 months, 9 months later. What was it again? Because I remember he did a police interview when he came in with his friend Corey Fleming, who's also a lawyer. Fudge. Because at that point, they were asking him some pretty tough questions. And he was like, oh, I thought I was just coming here to get an update in the case. And they're like, oh, well, I mean, you are. But at the same time, we want to ask some more questions about you and get some clarification. What was going on then? Did they knew that he was stealing from the law firm? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I would have to go through my videos again and go through all of my notes. But that was Buster Murdaugh. That was his police interview 3 days after his mom and his younger brother were murdered. And Alec Murdaugh was also doing an interview that day as well. All right, let's see if there's anything else before I pop out. Anything to watch in the true crime world? I do want to come back because I did tell you guys that, like, oh, next time I stream, we're going to watch the Wendy Adelson interrogation. We'll watch that this week instead, unless something else pops up. But yeah, we'll do the Wendy Adelson stuff. And just trying to see if there's anything popping up here before we go. King cake is a popular cake around Mardi Gras. Ooh, what is king cake? Why? It's possible that Law and Crime requested it months back and then just received it today or a couple days ago. So that could just be it. But I haven't heard any updates with Buster Murdaugh or anything like that. The Epstein stuff? Oh, I haven't really looked into it that much yet. I saw the names that were listed, but of course the names that were listed aren't necessarily people that were involved in the whole sex scandal stuff. But yeah, I did hear about that. There's a new motion that was filed on Sarah Boone's team. So it seems like she is going to go for the battered wife defense and maybe some other things, you know, maybe being under the influence of alcohol. But yeah, we still have Sarah Boone at the end of this month, Alex Murdaugh evidentiary hearing at the end of this month as well. Was there anything else I want to chat about? Oh, Gypsy Rose. Yeah. I saw that they were going after her boyfriend and she like claps back. I saw a little bit of that. When was Gypsy Rose? When was she put in prison again? Do you guys remember? Yeah, that's a case that I haven't really done a deep dive on. I've heard like bits and pieces about it, about her mom having, I think like, it was like Munchausen syndrome by proxy, where she would make her daughter really, really sick. And then the daughter had like a boyfriend and she probably wanted to get out of that controlling, awful situation that she had with her mom. And I think it was like her and the boyfriend, right, that ended up murdering the mom. I'm not really quite sure who actually did it. But yeah, I've been hearing bits and pieces about that here and there. All right, y'all. Guys, I'm just going to go eat. Hawkins? Nah. I heard Hawkins' name was mentioned, but it wasn't like anything about him being involved or anything like that. It was just like Epstein saying to like, oh, you know, we need to find someone to clear Hawkins or something like that. I don't know. It was like just something very short. You're sick of seeing her all over the internet? Is she everywhere? I don't know. Stay off social media. Especially, I don't know if you're on like Twitter. I don't know, Twitter. Like Twitter, I don't really go on. TikTok, on the other hand, I've been going through TikTok recently for all like the book stuff. It's a cake with cream cheese in it, covered in colorful sprinkles. That sounds so good. Wait, glitter? No, glitter, no. Sprinkles, yes. Oh, dude, I'm so hungry. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out on this Sunday stream. Again, we are going to be watching Wendy Adelson's interrogation next, or interview, and I'm just going to go eat. I'm starving. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday. If you guys missed any part of the stream, you can rewatch the stream over, or I'll just have a video posted later this afternoon. But I hope y'all have a good one. Take care, and I will see you guys a different day. Join the Discord if you haven't already. We have a Discord section. There's a true crime section, and there's other sections as well you can post in there. Like the stream if you enjoyed, and thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting with each other. Thanks for chatting with me, keeping us busy. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. Bye, Moondog. Bye, good guy. Yeah, thanks for joining me on Twitch and on YouTube. We are dual streaming. But I do want to do more games this week on Twitch, because I have not been playing video games. And, you know, I want to do some stuff.